What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Today we are going to be doing a restorative yoga class. If you've never done restorative yoga before, we're not going to be doing a whole lot of poses. We're going to be doing probably about a total of 5. The whole point of restorative yoga is to give you the sensation of like being held. So we're not actively stretching. We're not trying to get further into a stretch, melt deeper. We're just trying to like hold the stretch, hold it in its space, and just kind of live in the emotions and the tensions that come up as we're holding that pose. For this class, we're going to use blocks. We're going to use a bolster. If you do not have props, you can do this without it. However, I would highly suggest props. And I'll say right now, we're going to be holding in these poses for a little bit of time. So your mind's going to wander. It's going to happen naturally. As things come up, try your best to just let them kind of flow in one ear, out the other. Take this how you need to take it. I like restorative yoga. I like more of a slow type of yoga because I find that's what I need best to just calm me down. So if you're feeling a little bit stressed or anxious, if you're also planning a wedding and moving states, quitting a job, starting a new job, moving in with your significant other for the first time, this class might be for you. Big life changes. You need to slow down. You need to breathe. So join me on your mat. We are going to start off coming into a child's pose, and we're going to use our bolster for this child's pose. I want you to bring your big toes to the back of your mat. Open your knees out nice and wide. Now from here, I like to take the bolster so it comes right between my legs, and then you'll walk your hands to either side of your bolster. Just let yourself lay down onto that bolster. You can go forehead down. I'm going to do right ear to the bolster, and then I'll tell you when to switch, and we'll just start to hold right here. Just let your body settle into the pose. Let go of any idea that you need to achieve a certain shape with your body. Just let the cards fall where they may. Let your body do what it is capable of doing today, what it needs to do today. We'll take an inhale right here. And then on your exhale, just flip over to the left ear. Resettling into your child's pose. We'll take an inhale right here. And then we'll exhale to press ourselves up off of the bolster. You can move it forward for just a moment. We'll bring ourselves up into a tabletop position, unfolding through those legs. Take your hips right over your knees, shoulders right over your wrists. And we'll take an inhale, dip the belly down, open up the chest, draw the shoulder blades together. Exhale, push into the palms of the hands, curve the spine up. Good. We inhale, dip the belly down. Exhale, push into the hands, curve the spine up. Look right back to the tops of your legs. Good. From here, we're going to take everything down to our mat. You'll rest down onto your right hip, and I want you to bring your legs into a Z seat. So we'll bend the right knee. Your shin's going to be parallel to the long edge of your mat. Bend the left knee so your shin is parallel to the short edge of the mat. We'll take our bolster. You're going to bring it right up against the outside of your right hip. Then we'll take the right arm. You're going to reach it over your bolster. You're going to take your left arm to meet it so that we're squared off to our bolster. And then you're just going to fold over your bolster. Now, if you need a little bit of extra support underneath that back hip, you can grab onto a block and kind of prop that back hip up. And we'll just fold over here. We'll do kind of the same thing we did in our child's pose. I'll give you a couple options with how you rest. You can go down onto the right ear. You can do nose down to the bolster. If it feels okay, you can get a little bit of a bigger twist with your left ear down. I'm going to go right ear down. And we'll just rest here. We'll take an inhale breath right here. You can exhale, let it go. And then once you're ready, gingerly start to press yourself up off of your bolster. Grab onto your block if it was back behind you. And now we can move our bolster out of the way. I do want you to grab onto your blocks though, because we're going to take a counter stretch laying back behind us. I'm going to scoot back or scoot forward so I don't whack my wall behind me. So you can take your blocks right back behind you. All we're gonna do is start to lower down onto the forearms. And I like to rest a block right about where my shoulder blades are and then have another one so I can rest my head. That's what feels best for me. Now, if this feels a little bit too intense at the inside of your left hip, you can always come up out of it. That's absolutely fine. Should feel like just like a nice counter stretch to what we just did. Sorry, I keep getting a cramp in my foot. My feet cannot just hang out. We'll take a nice deep breath right here, inhaling through the nose, exhaling out through the nose. And then carefully, we're just gonna come up out of this the same way that we came down. So we'll take the forearms, you just bring them right underneath you. Carefully, it does not have to be graceful. You're just gonna bring yourself up. Sometimes that one can get a little bit intense at the inside of your hip because we've got a pretty severe internal rotation at that back leg. So if it felt a little weird, you had to come out of it, it's absolutely not a big deal. We'll take those same two poses over on the other side. So if you'd like to just kind of flip your blocks around to the other side. We'll take the bolster, you're gonna bring it right to the outside of the left hip. Left hand's gonna come to your bolster. We'll take the right arm up and over to meet it, so we're twisted in the upper body, and then start to lower yourself down onto your bolster. Now we went down onto the right ear on the first side, so let's do left ear on this side, and we'll just hang out right here. We'll take an inhale right here. And exhale. You'll let it go when you're ready to press yourself up off of the bolster. Just very gently pull yourself up. You can take our bolster out of the way for just a moment, and we'll reset our blocks so they come right behind you. Remember, we want one kind of right at the shoulder blades, and then we can take the other one. We'll put it back behind our head. I'm going to scooch forward just like I did on the first side. It takes a little bit of maneuvering to figure out the correct positioning of the block, so just give yourself a second. And if this feels uncomfortable on the right hip, just extend your leg out, or you can even pull your leg in a little bit. That'll help. Okay, when you're ready, start to lower yourself down onto your blocks. Get that first block right at about where the base of the shoulder blades are. Lay yourself down, and then you can slide that second block underneath your head just so you have a little bit of extra support. Maybe wiggle the blocks around if you need to. Get as comfortable as you can. On this side, things are a little tighter for me, so I'm going to slide my right knee right on top of my left foot. And you just start to sink into it. I'll say this pose is probably one of the more uncomfortable poses, for me at least. Maybe this is your favorite pose. There are no wrong answers. That's the cool part about yoga. However you feel is how you feel, and that's absolutely right. We'll take another deep inhale right here. Exhale, we'll let it go. And then once you're ready, we'll come up out of this the same way we came down, taking the forearms right next to you. That's what's going to help us to press up. You can nod your chin to your chest, pull everything back up into a seated position. We're going to roll our bolster out of the way and then take a block with you. We'll lay ourselves all the way down onto our mat. Your feet are going to come about hips distance apart. Now you can start by keeping your block on the low setting. I'm going to go on the medium setting for me. We'll take an exhale. You're going to push into your heels, lift your hips up, slide that block right about to where your sacrum is, and just kind of let yourself sink down onto that. Hands come down right by your sides and just keep breathing right like this. This should release a little bit of tension from the low back. This is like one of my favorite things. And if you need to readjust the block, you readjust the block. Okay? The cool part about moving our bodies is we're not stuck in one place forever. If it doesn't work for you, I want you to make any little adjustment that you need to. Take an inhale right here. Exhale, we'll let it go. And then once you're ready, we're going to grab onto that block, lift your hips up, slide the block out from underneath you. Now from here, we're going to bring ourselves up to, just so we can set ourselves up into a reclined goddess pose. We're going to use our bolster and we're also going to use our block. So take your bolster, you'll bring it right about to where your sacrum is, or that tailbone, right at the bottom of your spine. And then we'll take the blocks. You'll do a block on either side so you can rest those blocks right underneath the knees. And then just start to recline yourself down onto your bolster, opening up into the low back. Hands can come down by your sides. I like palms flipped up, but if you'd rather flip your palms down, you can play around with that, see how it feels, and just continue to breathe in and out through the nose. We'll take another inhale right here. And then you can exhale, let it go. And once you're ready, we're gonna bring ourselves up out of this very carefully to set ourselves up for our final resting pose. You can slide your blocks out of the way. We'll move our bolster, and you're gonna take your bolster so it comes right underneath your knees. And then from there, you can recline yourself back onto your mat. We'll take our supported shavasana from here. You can kind of let your legs open out just a little bit. I have my toes out, heels in, just to kind of open up the hip. And then your hands can come back down by your sides, either palms up, palms down, up to you. And we'll just get back into our breathing. Start to bring some awareness back into your breathing. Remember, we're inhaling in through the nose and out through the nose. If at any point you feel like maybe you want to take an audible or sigh out the breath, you're more than welcome to do that. Take a moment to do a full body scan, just seeing how things are feeling. Bring some awareness into your toes, some energy into the toes. Let that energy travel up your shins, to your knees, your thighs, your hips, into your core, up into your chest, your heart center, out to your arms, to your fingertips, and let that energy come out the crown of your head. Once you're feeling ready here, carefully we're gonna bring ourselves out of this resting pose. So you can move your bolster out of the way, just kind of kick it out with your feet. And we'll roll ourselves onto our right hip. You'll stack your knees, stack your shoulders. Taking the left hand down in front of you, we'll kick that left leg out to our side. Very carefully, gently, you'll press yourself up. And then you can bring yourself up into a seated position. Sorry, I didn't mean to come up on this side. That would be my back, but no worries. Bring yourself up into a comfortable seat and just take a moment. Take a big inhale. Exhale, we'll take a big sigh breath, let it out. Beautiful. Thank you so much for practicing with me today. I hope that you are leaving this class feeling much better than when you came in. Very relaxed, very zen, ready to go take a nap, maybe go to bed. Remember, you are awesome and you can do anything you put your mind to, and I will see you in our next video.
I just can't resist you. You got me thinking like